My friends, inspiration is not just a word, it's the breath that revives a tired soul. It's the spark that ignites hope when the world feels dark and heavy. It's the silent whisper that says, you can still rise. We live in a world where people often wait for miracles, yet they forget they are the miracle. Inspiration doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it blooms from within, from pain, from failure, from every scar that life carves on us. Let me share with you 5 truths about inspiration, 5 lessons that remind us we don't need wings to fly, only courage to keep going. Inspiration begins within you, and it starts the moment you choose to believe that you are enough. You see, we spend most of our lives searching for motivation in the outside world. We look at successful people, at beautiful moments, at others' achievements, and we think that's where inspiration lies. But the truth is, inspiration is not something you find, it's something you create. It's born from the depths of your own being, from the quiet realization that your story, no matter how messy or incomplete, has meaning. The most powerful form of inspiration is self-realization, when you finally accept who you are without apology. Because when you stop trying to be someone else, you start unlocking the beauty that already lives inside you. The journey of discovering inspiration within yourself is not easy. There are days when you will feel lost, when you will doubt your worth, when you will question your purpose. But that's exactly where growth begins. Inspiration doesn't come from comfort, it comes from struggle, from the moments that break you and rebuild you in ways you never imagined. When you fall and get back up, when you wipe your own tears and smile again, that's when you inspire not just yourself, but others too. It's in the quiet moments of resilience that the fire of inspiration truly begins to burn. You don't need to wait for someone to tell you that you can do it. You don't need anyone's approval. The permission to rise is already within you. Every individual carries a unique light. Sometimes that light dims because of fear, rejection, or failure, but it never disappears. It waits for you to recognize it again. Inspiration blooms when you stop hiding from yourself and start embracing your journey, the mistakes, the lessons, and the victories. You begin to understand that the power you seek is already in your hands. You don't have to have a perfect plan or a flawless past. You just need to take the first step, however small, toward becoming the best version of yourself. And when you do that, when you start believing that you have the strength to create change, you become unstoppable. Inspiration is not about pretending to be strong all the time. It's about being honest enough to admit when you're weak, yet brave enough to keep going anyway. It's not about never falling. It's about standing again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. The moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a survivor, inspiration is born. You don't have to search for light. It's already within you. Sometimes all you need is to look in the mirror and remind yourself that even with all your scars, you are still worthy, still capable, still enough. When you believe that, you no longer chase inspiration, you become it. Pain can be your greatest teacher because it reveals lessons that comfort never could. When life is easy, we rarely grow, but when it hurts, when everything seems to fall apart, that's when we discover who we truly are. Pain strips away illusions, forces us to face ourselves, and teaches us strength we never knew existed. It whispers truths we often ignore when everything is going right. You see, pain is not the enemy, it's a messenger. It arrives to awaken you, to remind you that even in brokenness, there is purpose. Many people run from their pain, trying to hide it or numb it, but those who embrace it, who allow themselves to feel, end up transforming it into power. That's where inspiration is born. Not in perfection, but in healing. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival. Behind every smile that hides a past of tears, there is courage. Pain shapes you into a version of yourself that is wiser, more empathetic, and more real. When you go through suffering, you learn to see the world differently. You stop judging others because you understand how it feels to struggle. You stop taking the little things for granted because you realize how fragile happiness can be. Pain teaches humility. It teaches patience. It shows you that growth is not comfortable. It is often painful, but always worth it. In those dark moments when you think everything is over, pain is quietly building your foundation. It's teaching you endurance. It's showing you that you can survive things you once thought would destroy you. Sometimes, the lessons of pain are silent. You may not understand them right away, but one day when you look back, you realize that every challenge, every heartbreak, every tear was necessary to bring you where you are today. Without pain, there would be no depth to your character, no empathy in your heart, no appreciation for peace when it finally comes. Pain refines you. It burns away the parts of you that no longer serve you, leaving behind only what's real and strong. When you share your story of pain with honesty, you inspire others who are still fighting their battles. You become living proof that it's possible to overcome, that wounds can turn into wisdom. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with truth. Your pain, once healed, becomes a source of hope for others. That's how pain turns into purpose. It gives you a reason to rise every morning and use your story to light someone else's path. So don't hide from your pain. Don't silence it, embrace it, learn from it, and let it teach you what strength really means. Because the greatest inspiration often comes from those who were once broken, but chose to rebuild themselves piece by piece with love, courage, and faith that even pain can lead to something beautiful. Small acts create big waves because real inspiration doesn't always come from grand gestures or heroic deeds. It often begins with the simplest of actions, a kind word, a smile, a helping hand. These moments may seem small to you, but to someone else, they can mean everything. You never truly know the impact of your presence, your words, or your kindness. Sometimes it's the smallest spark that ignites the brightest fire in someone's life. When you make a habit of spreading goodness in your daily routine, you create ripples that travel far beyond what you can see. Every act of kindness, no matter how tiny, carries the power to inspire change. We often think that to make a difference, we must do something extraordinary, but that's not true. The world changes one heart at a time, and it starts with compassion. Holding the door for someone, listening when they need to talk, or offering a word of encouragement might seem insignificant, but those gestures carry deep emotional weight. You might not remember every act of kindness you do, but the person receiving it often never forgets. Inspiration is not about being famous or powerful, it's about being human. Someone who chooses to care even when it's easier not to. When you decide to be kind, you become a silent force of hope in a world that sometimes feels cold and distant. Your small actions can restore faith in humanity. Think about how a single candle can light hundreds of others without losing its flame. That's what kindness does. It multiplies, it spreads, it grows beyond you. The person you help today may go on to help another, and the ripple continues. The chain of inspiration you start might travel further than you'll ever know. That's the quiet beauty of small acts. They are timeless, limitless, and deeply contagious. Sometimes we underestimate the value of simplicity. We wait for big moments to prove our worth or to make an impact, but every moment is an opportunity to inspire. Smiling at a stranger could lift their mood on a difficult day. Saying thank you could remind someone they are appreciated. Offering forgiveness could teach others the strength of compassion. Inspiration lives in these small moments, moments that show others that kindness still exists, that empathy still matters, and that goodness still has power in a world often driven by self-interest. If every person made it their mission to do just one good thing each day, imagine how different the world could be. The oceans of change are built from drops of small effort, consistency, and heart. You don't have to be rich, famous, or extraordinary to make a difference. You just have to care. When your actions come from a place of sincerity, they inspire more deeply than any speech or performance ever could. So keep doing the small things, because one day you'll realize they were never small at all. They were the seeds of inspiration that changed someone's life. Resilience is the foundation of inspiration because it is the silent strength that keeps you moving when everything inside you wants to give up. It's easy to stay motivated when life is smooth, but true inspiration is born when the road gets rough and you still keep walking. Resilience is that invisible force inside you that whispers, try again, even when you're tired, broken, and uncertain of the outcome. It's not about never falling. It's about how many times you stand up after every fall. Life will test you again and again. It will knock the breath out of you and make you question your worth. But if you can find the courage to rise from the dust each time, you will become unstoppable. That courage, that refusal to surrender, is what inspires others more than any words ever could. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has known struggle. They have faced rejection, disappointment, and failure, yet they chose to persevere. Resilience is not built in comfort. It is built in pain, in uncertainty, in the moments when you think you have nothing left to give. It's in those moments that your true character is revealed. When you keep moving forward, even when the odds are against you, you show the world that strength is not about being invincible. It's about being unbreakable in spirit. People are inspired not by perfection, but by persistence. Your ability to rise after being broken becomes a light for others who are lost in darkness. Resilience teaches you patience. It reminds you that every setback is temporary, that no storm lasts forever. It transforms failure into feedback, pain into purpose, and obstacles into opportunities. Each time life challenges you, you have two choices: to give in or to grow. Resilience helps you choose growth. It helps you turn every ending into a new beginning. And with every comeback, you become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You learn to trust yourself more deeply, to believe that no matter how bad it gets, you will survive and rebuild. What makes resilience truly inspiring is its quiet power. It doesn't shout or demand attention, it simply endures. It keeps you grounded when everything else falls apart. It helps you face loss with dignity, failure with grace, and pain with faith. When you live with resilience, you show others that life's trials do not define you. Your response to them does. Every scar becomes a story of strength, every struggle a lesson in endurance. People watch how you rise, how you keep smiling through the hurt, and they find hope in your resilience. So, when life tests you, remember that your strength lies not in how many times you fall, but in how many times you rise. Be the person who never gives up, even when it hurts. Because resilience doesn't just help you survive, it helps you inspire. It turns your pain into power and your story into a message that tells others, if I can rise, so can you. Inspiration lives in gratitude, because when you learn to appreciate what you have, instead of focusing on what you lack, your entire perspective on life changes. Gratitude is the art of seeing beauty in the ordinary, hope in the struggle, and light even in the darkest corners. It transforms pain into purpose and challenges into lessons. When you live with gratitude, you stop chasing happiness and start creating it from within. You begin to see every moment, no matter how simple, as a gift. And in that awareness, inspiration is born. Because the most powerful people are not those who have everything, but those who find peace in what they already have. When life feels unfair or when dreams don't go as planned, gratitude keeps you grounded. It reminds you that even in loss, there are blessings. Maybe you lost something precious, but you still have the strength to rise. Maybe the door you wanted to walk through closed, but another one quietly opened somewhere else. Gratitude helps you see what's left instead of what's gone. It gives meaning to pain and brings calm to chaos. The more you focus on what's good, the more good you attract into your life. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it gives you the courage to face them with a hopeful heart. That's what makes it so inspiring. It teaches you to choose light, even when surrounded by darkness. People who live with gratitude radiate a quiet strength. They're not blind to their struggles. They simply refuse to let the struggles define them. They understand that every sunrise is a new chance. Every breath is a blessing, and every challenge carries a hidden lesson. Gratitude opens your eyes to the little miracles around you. The laughter of loved ones, the warmth of sunlight, the kindness of strangers. When you start to notice and appreciate these things, you stop comparing your journey to others and begin to honor your own path. You realize that even though life isn't perfect, it is still beautiful. Gratitude also inspires others because it shows that joy is a choice, not a condition. You don't have to wait for everything to go right to be thankful. In fact, being thankful even when things go wrong is what makes you truly powerful. When others see you remain positive in difficult times, they begin to believe that they can too. Your attitude becomes a reflection of hope, and your heart becomes a source of light. Gratitude creates a ripple of inspiration that touches everyone around you. So never underestimate the power of a grateful heart. It doesn't just change how you see the world, it changes how the world sees you. Gratitude turns moments into memories, struggles into strength, and life into a beautiful journey. When you wake up each day thankful for another chance to live, to love, and to grow, you don't just find inspiration, you become it. So, my friends, inspiration is not found in fame, wealth, or perfection. It's found in authenticity, in courage, and compassion. You don't have to be extraordinary to inspire, you just have to be real. Be the kind of person whose story makes others believe that no matter how heavy the storm, the sun will rise again. Because the truth is, the most beautiful inspiration comes from the hearts that dared to heal, to love, and to keep shining, no matter what